Alright, and we're back, and that was just an awesome song we found. I don't know who sings this song, but it's called Enemy's Camp. It's kind of like a rendition to a rap version of the Enemy's Camp praise and worship song. And that's what we need to do. We need to go down to the enemy's camp. We need to take back what he has stole from us. And we're continuing our talk about gang violence in Chicago and gang violence all across America, and how it is affecting our children, and how the media is promoting this kind of lifestyle to our children, and how they feel in Chicago that they shouldn't snitch and go to the police and turn in these teenagers or these people that murdered this Darian Albert. He was an honor student at his school, and he left his school and got into there was a gang war happening in the street, and he was killed. Somebody beat him with a railroad tie. Not a gun, a railroad tie. And if Jeremy could come over here, we're going to talk about gang violence and what he saw when he was in California, what he heard about. I found a little bit more on the internet. I wanted to know some statistics about gang violence stuff, and what's really sad is I didn't find a whole lot. A lot of stuff was really old from a few years ago. But this one I found, it said every 2 hours in America today a child dies of a gunshot wound. Every 2 hours a child dies from a gunshot-related injury. And they're connecting this with gang violence. And this was quite an old article. It was from the late 1990s. But I would say that is much higher today, considering everything that's going on. But Jeremy lived for a short time in California. And he lived near Oakland and San Francisco. And Oakland, I just learned about, has one of the absolute worst gang violent activities in the entire United States. And there was a documentary on it, either National Geographic or Discovery or something like that, not too long ago. It is just horrible. And I would like you to share a little bit what you heard, what you know about Oakland and the gang violence, because I really don't know a lot.
California, specifically Oakland, has one of the highest murder rates for the whole nation. And I think they're still in the top 10 for this year. I'll double verify that. But as we said, looking up statistics, some of them are pretty old. Since the economy's fallen apart, not a lot of stuff's being done. But I do believe it's Net Geo was the channel that had the gang violence in Oakland show. I think it was a couple of hours. What's going on is, of course, Oakland has an international airport. They're doing sex trafficking. They're smuggling weapons over the sea, through the seas, across borders. So there's a lot of different gangs. There's a Latino gang, there's a black gang, there's a white gang, and then there's like the hybrid. But it's just, the whole place is just like, it's almost like an Al Capone movie or Scarface thing going on. You got the drug stuff going on, you got the sex trafficking going on, you got the violence, and kids are just going crazy. If there should be a state of emergency anywhere, it should be in Oakland. They have the gun ban in Oakland. It's not working.
And they have a gun ban in Chicago.
They have the gun ban in Chicago.
It isn't working.
It's not working. They're getting guns illegally, and we're talking about rifles that are have semi-automatic 9mm automatic guns. We're not talking about necessarily the AK-47, but a good example is California. You can talk to guys from Germany and everything. $45 to get you an AK-47. You can go to the local store and buy your own bullets. You don't, as far as I know, you don't need a license to buy bullets. I might be wrong in that, and that's where the line needs to be crossed. Too many people are buying weapons because they need safety, because yes, the highest thing is people being killed by weapons, and weapons don't kill people. People kill people with weapons. There's a big difference here.
Yeah.
The most craziest thing that's going on, there's a new technology out, and I can't remember the name of it, but one of the anonyms for it was like a sound chute, and what it was a multi-hub locator for audio devices, and it was set to the tune of a gunshot. And there's so many gunshots that go off, they don't know where to go because a car gets called out somewhere. So what this does is it takes the sound and it tries to get a perimeter and a set amount of millimeters or mile radius, so then the cars can go to that area and no one even has to call it in. It's on the tops of buildings and everything. That's how bad things are. And with the way the economy is and everything, people are just going off on extreme. Some of these gang people, you can't talk to them, you can't reason with them, but that doesn't mean you need to kill them. It doesn't mean you need to protect yourself with weapons and go like on a rampage. I think our government and I think Christians as a whole need to try and reach the community, find out what the problem is. Some people, they've had to drop out of school. Other people, they didn't drop out of school. Some of them, have so many family members. I mean, the sky's the limit on the problems. We need to get down to the area where they're at, find people that can understand the dialogue and the language, and see what's really going on in society.
And the thing that I do not like that people call these areas that with the violence, they call it the ghetto. Well, I don't like that. The reason I don't like it being called a ghetto is because a ghetto was set up to force people to live in a small area. The Germans did this to force the Jews into a small environment where they could not leave. They were imprisoned, and that's why that's where a ghetto came from.
Yeah,
and these people aren't being forced to live in these places, but yet they call it a ghetto because it's just a bad area. To me, it's just a bad place. It could be a good place. And that's why I won't call it a ghetto, because a ghetto was made to imprison people, and people aren't forced to live in these places. They choose to live. Now, some people might say that's not true, because if you don't have a lot of money, you're kind of forced to live in these places. Well, there's no walls built up where you can't leave. And that's the way a ghetto was set. There were walls enclosed all around you. You were not allowed to leave. The Nazis refused to. They kept you away from everybody. You were set apart because you're this race and you're not allowed to be over here. That isn't what we have in America today. And I don't believe we have ghettos, because people are free to move, to go places. They're not chained to that certain area. But we need to infiltrate as Christians. We need to infiltrate and to get down on what we call the wrong side of the tracks. Get in those places and reach out to those in need. And we really need to pray and search your hearts. And even if it's a small gesture, just maybe buying somebody some food. It can really make a difference. So when we come back, we'll talk about High Court to decide if war memorial violates Constitution. Be back in just a little bit.